Can you guys hear me? Hello.
Yes, Bala.
Yeah, okay. Scheduling apex from a trigger. Tell me how to schedule. Um, how to call a schedule apex, or how to invoke a schedule apex. First thing, then we'll see. Invoking, just we need to call the same apex from a trigger. That nothing actually. Schedule apex from a trigger handler. So handler here. Okay, yeah. Can someone tell me how to call a schedule apex? Okay, what all we need to schedule a job? One is this object. How to schedule? What else we need? We need an object, cron expression, and name of the job. And then should have a system dot schedule, system dot schedule, where we have a job name, cron expression, and a object. Job name will be like you can give whatever the name you want. Job from trigger. And then cron expression. How the cron expression would be? What all we have in a cron expression? Seconds, and then minutes, and then hours, and then what we have? Day in a
Day,
month. Okay, and then
month,
okay, month, and then
a week in a month,
okay, day in a week, not week in a month, day in a week. So once we have a day in a month, day in a week will be question mark. We no need to mention about that. And then what else we have?
year,
Year, so which could be optional, or we can put the year, not a problem. Now I'm going to use this cron expression over here, and then here we have to use the class object of a schedulable class. That's it, and then semicolon. That's what over here so far we have, and a set for a invoking. Sorry, here we have a invoking a schedule job. Like a schedule job. That's what I have. So I have method ready, and either I can use this method in my trigger. And trigger handler data and working a schedule job. So this is when we have a creation of account. Hmm. Okay, what I'm trying to expect here, whenever I have this account creator. I'm expecting there will be a new job creator with the this name. Let's say then. So how to check whether my job is scheduled or not? How would I check? What I need to search for? Any guess? Any guess, please? Schedule jobs only. So we'll go for schedule jobs. What's the name I say? The schedule job from trigger or something. Yeah, job from a trigger is what I did. And when it's submitted just before, if I see my time 8:49, 8:49, and when it's scheduled, it's on a February 25, 2022. Okay. Done. So we know that we can call a schedule job also from a trigger. And then what else we have? Calling a future methods from a trigger. Here it's going to be interesting part. Let's see. So I would like to call a future method. Okay. Um, mm, future method. The two update. Update what? What will update? Will update account, account site. Hmm. Account site. So I will be having stuff ID, account ID set, sorry, account ID list I have, and here, so I would pass some account ID list, and there, name. So what I'm trying to update over here, I'm trying to update a account site. I'm not sure like what is the API name. It could be a site or something. Site from account where ID equal to. So hope you guys are following. Yeah. Text only. Right. So what I'm trying to do here, so I write a method where I'm passing a, it's still not a future method, okay? I'm just passing a list of IDs, and what are the IDs I pass? I'm trying to query on the account, and if I have any matching accounts, and then on it, I was trying to change a site to a default site. Here I want to do one more check saying that if this site is blank, then only give a site as a default, otherwise I don't want to disturb it. It's blank. If it's a blank, then only want to use this one. And finally, update the account list. That's all I'm having here. And here to convert this to a future, what I want to do, what I need to do, I need to annotate with a future annotation. Then only this method will be called as a future method. So here, how to call a future method from trigger. So using a class name only still. So I'm going to class name. But if you remember here, sorry, this method is having a parameter called a list of IDs as a account ID list. So here, insert. So in before insert, do I have IDs or not? I don't have IDs, right? So what I will do, instead of using it from here, I'll use it in a after triggers. Let's move on to after trigger. Mm, 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 mm. After insert. So make sure that you are not calling from a for loop. Still same. So here just I will add a comment saying calling a future method from trigger after trigger. Sorry, but still we are missing something. Passing IDs. So I would like to pass IDs of accounts. So that is it is to sorry, it is a list of IDs. Mm, have a new map ready now after insert, but sorry, if I give a trigger dot new map, sorry, new map dot key set, whether it will be allowed or not allowed. So what will be the return type of a trigger dot new map dot key set? What is the return type of this method?
Set of keys.
Set of, yeah, what is the key here?
Set of IDs.
Yeah, set of IDs will be written, but what is the constructor, or like what is my method I wrote? It's a list of IDs, but I'm trying to pass a set of IDs, so it will not be allowed. You will be seeing the same error over here. So there is no method exists with the parameter is saying a set, but I have only with the list. So what I can do, I can convert this set into a list. So how to convert a set into list? Anyone remember? I have a list of ID. So I have a list. So how I can convert this set that is returning from this function to a list. How can I convert? So in short,
Can we do typecasting, Bala? Like,
okay, how I need to do?
uh, can we pass it like the variable account IDs? We have this variable, right? So like a set of account IDs, when set up in brackets account IDs.
If you remember the list constructors, when we are looking at a list methods, when you have a list constructors, what are all we can pass here? Well, initializing a list, either we can give a empty, or we can pass a list, or we can pass a set. So already we have a set, so we can give like this. So this is already converted to a list, and I'll pass this list to a here. Okay, so this data type has to be matching. So anyway, this is sending a set of IDs. So while initializing itself, I will pass this set. So this will be converted to this list, and I'm going to use this list to pass it to a future method. Okay. So after insert, I'm going to call a future method. Okay. Well, let's try to create a new account and see. Okay. So here, if you look at job from a trigger, so here I am giving a we're calling a schedule apex, right? In schedule apex, we're giving where it is schedule trigger. Yeah, here. When we're doing a schedule trigger, we're giving a name here. So what the name we're giving here always um, we're giving the same name. But when you're having a scheduled job with the same name, it will be not allowed. Sorry. What we can do in those cases, we can skip this one and see. Let's see. Okay, so what we can do is we will add this account name to it. First, we'll take account name here and then we'll do it. List of account. This is a list. If it is not null and is empty, I would say if it is not empty, in those scenario, I would like to pass the zero dot. Yeah, this. And so here similarly I need to pass the data also here. Okay, done. Now I just save again. So you see the error message here, right? Account before trigger execution of a before insert caused by a system asynchronous exception. The apex job name job from a trigger is already scheduled for execution. Invoke job is failed. Okay, I'm just trying to save again. I have some rating errors. So I have this one. Now I have one more error called website. Then and save. So what I'm trying to check here whether I was able to what I was trying to do here. I forgot. Future method, whether the future method is called or not. I'll just check the logs and see. Okay, update failed. At least it got called, but the update was failed with something, some exception. See here, the transaction is success. I don't have any errors, but in future method there is a failure. But I don't know until unless I check the log. So update failed, and what is saying a field custom valid exception saying that either phone or fax to be updated to do this update. Okay, let me create one more account. I would say it should be hard and I should have some account name and then I should have at least some phone number and then website. Okay, let's do a save. Fine, let me see whether I have a future method called or not and let success or failure. See, it's called and it got success. And see, when I creating this account, I'm not given any site here. But if you check now, we have a default site populated now. So it is also working, calling a future method from a trigger. Okay, any questions so far before we're moving on? Any questions? Yeah. Okay. Now, if we have any call out to be called from a trigger, so we cannot directly do a call out. Sorry, we cannot do a call out directly from a trigger. We have to use either future or batch methods to allow doing a call outs from a trigger. So how we do, so if you have a call out, you should write a future method and you have to call this future method from a trigger, and this future method, inside the future method you can write your um all your integration thing, like if you have a rest or so, just you will be include your call out logic here. So if you include a call out logic here, you have to mention that call out equal to true. Then only if you add your call out logic, then only it will be allowed. Call out equal to, sorry, call out equal to true. Then only it is allowed on this future method. Okay. And so I already calling this method. So if you have logic over here, it will satisfy. Just we'll see if I gave a call out equal to true, whether it's allowing me or not. Just we'll do a check and then close. Okay, I'm just giving Save. I'm checking. Now see, the future method is success without any errors. Similarly, so you have to make a note that if you're going to invoke callouts from my triggers, we cannot we cannot do callouts directly from triggers. The short answer is, and how we can do, we can use future with callout equal to true and add your logic, or call batch apex with this database hello callouts. You can use either this one or this one, so that you can do a workaround to do a callouts from a trigger. So in short, you cannot directly do a callouts from a trigger. If you want to do, you have to use a future method or a batch class to do so, and it's not in direct. If you doing with the help of future method, you have to add annotation with help of a callouts equal to true. If it's a batch, then we have to implement a interface called a database dot allow callouts. Okay. Now I have something called a any questions so far? Like we don't not covering much on integration, so that's not writing any code here. So we need to understand how to write the callouts and all before we doing that. So that's why we cannot do completely this one. Invoking a email from a trigger. So to do this, first we have to know how to send a email from a Apex. Okay, before we getting started, if you have any questions, you can ask. Just I will give some intro and just send us some sample email. Um, okay, and email to account owner. Okay, forgot about this method name or anything. So I want to send a email from a Apex trigger. So how can I do that? So we have an interface called messaging. Messaging. So this messaging a namespace or messaging class, the standard class from Apex, will help us in sending an email from Apex class. So in this messaging also there are two ways of doing it. One is called a single email message and is a mass email message. Just single email messaging, yeah, mass email messaging. First we'll focus on one single email messaging and see how to do a single email messaging and use that and send an email from Apex. From here, we have a single email message. Using this, we can send an email from an Apex. Saying not single email message. Okay, I have this one, and this is a object variable called a email. So once we have an email, so let's say if I want to send an email in general, not from Apex or something else, if I want to send an email, what are all I need to send an email?
To address and subject
Okay,
and the email body.
so let me open up one of my any Gmail and just try to compose an email and what is all it is looking for to send an email. Okay, so that it will be very easy to correlate. Now compose. So when I do a compose, it will open up my one window and let me go to all the options that are available and see those. Okay, now we have a when I'm trying to send an email, what all options I have? I have a two where I can give like one or more email IDs over here. I have a CC where I can add one or more email IDs in BCC where I can add one or more email IDs and I can have a subject and then I can have a body and then I have like if I have any kind of text, I can either format it or I can just write a plain text also. After that, I can add some attachments and then do a send the email. Okay, these are all very basic things that are required to send an email. So first now we'll see a basic email only. And we have more options as well, but we'll see how to send an email. So if you see, I have BCC address, CC address. So I was looking for a to address. Set to address. So if you see the what is the parameter is saying, it's a list of strings. That's what it's going to allow. So the list of strings. Why list of strings? The list of strings would be a list of emails that you're going to list of email IDs that you're going to send. Okay, so list of strings to address to whom I'm going to send the email is. So new list of string. So here I'm going to add once a minute. So just add my email here. Just I will give my email ID. It will be easy to check. To address, and I'm going to have one more. To address is enough to set. So I'm going to set this to address as a parameter over here to this email. And then what else I need? Email dot set subject. Set subject. I'm going to set the subject of my email. Mm, I'm going to set an email subject from account apex trigger. So I have set the subject and then what else I need to do? If you have BCC or CC address, you can add, or if I had something called a body of it. So the bodies are of two different types here. One is a text body, another is a HTML body. So here I would like to set a set text body. What should be a syntax? Plain text body. This is what a syntax was. Set plain text body. So the plain text body means it's kind of a plain text. So can add any some string to it. Uh, I this is my plain text message from Apex trigger. That's it. So at high level, my email is ready. How to send my email? So for sending email, we having a messaging dot send email. In the send email, we are going to have a list of emails that we are going to send. So I would say new list of email. I would say this is what my one of the email. Yes, do a send the email. That's all I have. Let me